Hello, folks. I'm OdinSpack, and welcome back to 33 years and counting of my favorite games. This is part 29, the year 1994. It's getting crazy because we're getting really close to the end of the series, but also 1994. This would have been the year that I turned 5 years old, and that sounds insane to me because there are so many games to talk about of just stuff that I liked. This is just an absolutely stacked year, and it's kind of crazy to think that I was only 5 because it doesn't it feels like I was older, but I guess I wasn't. I guess I've just been gaming forever, and I don't know. It feels like I was older. Maybe I was mentally older, but I was 5 when all of this stuff. Well, actually, some of this stuff I would have only been 4 because I hadn't even turned 5 years old yet, unless it was all released after July. But that's pretty doubtful. So why don't we get started with my honorable mentions? I have a few, so I'm going to quickly get into this. First is Donkey Kong on Game Boy. It's also referred to as Donkey Kong 94, the year it came out. This game is like a super expansion of the arcade game. And I mean, you can't even really say it's anything like the arcade game, other than the fact that it has the same plot beat where like Pauline is captured or kidnapped and you're like trying to save her, but like it starts with like how it starts classic arcade style, like the first few stages, but then after that it's just a gigantic game. There's so many stages in this game. It's all on the Game Boy. It's pretty crazy. Mario has so many moves, like the triple jump and backflip and handsprings, and you can throw barrels. Yeah, even you get that ability to do that. You like there's so much. There's so much in this game. It's insane. It's like a puzzle platformer because you're trying to figure out how to complete each stage, which usually involves hitting switches and jumping on enemies, and it's crazy. Absolutely crazy game. Definitely play it. Donkey Kong Country on the Super Nintendo. I mentioned last time that Donkey Kong Country 2 like might be my favorite in the series. The reason I say that is cuz Donkey Kong Country is just such a simple playthrough. Like it's not like it's super easy or anything like that, but you don't have to worry about finding the secrets in that. Like they're there. You can do that. You can get 101% if you want. It doesn't do anything. So like it's just there for like the satisfaction for the gamer if you want to do that. So you can do a playthrough like that, or you can do any percent, and it's fun either way. So that's what I really enjoy about Donkey Kong Country. I mean, besides that, it's just a solid platformer. Sonic 3 and Knuckles, the combo cart. It's two carts, Sonic and Knuckles on. You put Sonic 3 into Sonic and Knuckles. Anyway, I first played this on stream. It was one of my very first stream events I ever did. You can still find my cringy trailer I did for it, announcement video I did for it on my YouTube channel. I think you can. I don't know if I deleted that or not. Maybe I did. Um, I don't know now. I was going through a bunch of stuff and getting rid of things. That may have been one of the things I got rid of. But uh, of the classic Sonic games, this is the one I enjoyed the most. Mostly because it has saving in it, so I was able to get through the game eventually, even though I died on the final boss like a million times. Um, this game potentially changed my life in that I stayed up so late streaming it that I I slept in the next day and missed a job interview. But not for a job that I wanted at all. It was a job that, would have paid well, but it was like a factory job that I did not want. So maybe a blessing in disguise, or who knows? Life could be a lot different right now if I never played it. So anyway, um, that's Sonic 3 and Knuckles. This is the most fun I think I've had playing a Sonic game. I've beaten all the Genesis ones now, but this is the only one you're gonna hear mentioned. So there you go. Super Metroid. I feel like I don't have to say much on this. I'm really not going to. It's a phenomenal game. This is probably some people's favorite game of all time. This is probably some people's number one of this year. But for me, um, it's a Metroid that I really enjoy a lot. But it's not one that I'm always frequently going back to. Although this is my current update game video that you've been seeing on my channel. as of late. I don't know if that will finish uh, by time I start unveiling some new stuff, but anyway, that's not important. Super Metroid is a fantastic game. It is very cool that you can, with enough skill, really just go out of order into doing all sorts of crazy challenges that people have discovered. It's probably like the ultimate speed run game. There's just so much that like probably wasn't intended, but just the wall jumping that they added in, and so many secret techniques that like are in the game, but I don't think are listed anywhere. Like just really make this like a just a truly amazing experience. And this is one of the games in the Metroid series that's got the ambient music done right. It's not like it's not in your face. Some of it is, but it's really not in your face. It never gets like frustrating to listen to, and it's never like oh man, this isn't very good. It's not like that. The soundtrack is great. It's a great soundtrack. So and then my last honorable mention is going to go to Uniracers on the Super Nintendo, a game that is made by Nintendo, and you'll never see re-released because they basically lost, I believe, a lawsuit to Pixar because the unicycles look a lot like one of the mascots, I guess, for Pixar. Which I mean, it's a unicycle. Like, how different can you make a unicycle look? I don't know, but I guess Pixar just has the right to any kind of unicycle mascot, anything. I suppose. I mean, Disney. So that's not important. I just want to say that real quick. But Uniracers is a really weird 2D platforming racing game. It's platform esque in the way that you play it, but like it's a racing game. It's very fast. I guess it's similar to Sonic, really. Just you're a unicycle instead. I know it sounds really dumb, but it's probably the best way to compare it, honestly, to anything. If you played Sonic, you'll probably like Uniracers. Um, but it's really neat. It has some really insane features, and like an 8-player mode. Not all at once, obviously, but it has like this weird tournament league mode. It's really hard, very difficult, but it feels good to beat it. So, all right, that goes for my honorable mentions. Let's get moving into my top three for 1994. Absolutely stacked top three. Super Metroid was one of my honorable mentions. Donkey Kong Country was one of my honorable mentions. Like, absolutely insane year. Now, my bronze medal is Super Punch Out for the Super Nintendo. Now, for some, this might be an honorable mention. This might not make their top three because I feel like Super Punch Out gets a bad rap. I don't know what it is that people don't really like about it. I guess it doesn't play like the other Punch Out games. But at the time, it was only the second on console. Yes, there was an arcade game, but for most people, it was probably just the second in the series, even though it's not. But that aside, yes, it does play different, but it's still like the same style of game. It's still like even though the mechanics aren't exact, like it still has the same dodging, learning the opponent's pattern, um, and like it's got that. It has that. It doesn't have the star punch. It has the super meter with the knockout punches, which feels super satisfying to throw, especially the rapid punch. So cool. The music is not the best. I'll give it that. It's not the best. It's not the best soundtrack, honestly. World Circuit's pretty good though. But it is a fun, fast-paced playthrough that I just love to pick up and play and beat it in like 20 minutes or however long it takes, maybe 30 minutes. I don't know. If 20 minutes, maybe that's a world record. Probably not a world record, but it's like 20 or 30 minutes to play through it. It's a relatively short game. Okay, maybe it's a little longer than that, but it's relatively short, and it's a lot of fun. And it was one of my first Let's Plays, and it's not like one of those games that I did like a let's. It's not like Rad Gravity where like I hadn't played it in years and decided to do a Let's Play. No, I genuinely liked Super Punch Out before I decided like I had been playing it too. Like this is one of those games that I remember me and my brother playing on emulator, and we would like do time attacks and try to like uh, you know uh, beat the boxers as fast as possible. We tried to knock out every boxer that you could. It was really satisfying, like learning like which boxers could be knocked out. We hoped all of them can. They can't. Um, but it is a lot of fun learning the game. I feel like once you've learned it, then that's it. Like that's it. You've learned the game. There's not really much to it after that. It's probably one of the easier ones to learn. Maybe I'm just saying that because I've played it so much, as opposed to Punch Out NES and Punch Out on Wii. But I truly believe it's one of the easier ones to learn. I just think the way it's structured, it makes it easier. I mean, I'm sure Punch Out Wii is probably easy to learn too. It has a time attack mode too, but regardless, that game's hard. But I love Super Punch Out. I'll play it any day. So, and there's a two-player mode. I mean, do I have to put that? That's a weird thing to say now, but yeah, recently discovered, months ago, there's a two-player mode to this game. It's like a debug mode, but it's a thing. It's cool. So, that's there. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look it up. If you're like, "What? There is?" Yeah, there actually is. Look it up. I'm not kidding you. All right. My silver medal for 1994 is going to go to Mega Man X on the Super Nintendo. Now, Mega Man X, it's like I mentioned this, I feel like on stream lately, that this might be my favorite Mega Man X game, because for a while I was saying Mega Man X3, and like I love Mega Man X3. Don't get me wrong, I think it's great, one of my first Let's Plays and everything. But Mega Man X, like it is just so well made. It is such a fun playthrough to go through Mega Man X. I love just all of the weapons are really fun. Um, the speed of which, like the dash boots, like nothing. There's no air dashing in this game, so there's nothing made for that in this game. So I think that might be one of the better things. There's no jumps that are like, hey, you could be dashing in midair, so we're gonna give you weird jumps to account for that. I don't think there's anything like that in this game. Uh, I just I don't I just think it's a really fun and fast paced playthrough. I gained a greater appreciation for this game. I think like not long, well, maybe like not even 10 years ago, maybe like 5 years ago or so. But I was just doing playthroughs of it every once in a while, and I was just having a blast with it. And it's not one that I find nostalgic, which might be positive, honestly, for it, because, like I said, Mega Man X3 is very nostalgic for me. I already went into that a couple videos ago, just because I played it so much growing up. But Mega Man X is not one I played growing up a lot. It's one I've more so played like in my late 20s, like early 30s. Like that's more of when I've played Mega Man X. So I think that's why I appreciate it more now, because it's a game that I've began to love, like 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 more so now than just growing up. It's not like, oh, I had this connection to it and it was a lot of fun growing up with it. Like I'm still actively playing it. Like, yeah, I haven't played it like in probably in a couple of months or so, but I'm pretty sure I've done a playthrough of it this year. Like I constantly do Mega Man X playthroughs just because they're fun to do. And I mean, I constantly isn't like once a week or something like that, but I'm at least playing through it once a year, where I can't say the same thing for Mega Man X3. So it's just a game that is really fun to go back to. So I honestly believe that it deserves a number 2 on this list, and I debatably might be my favorite Mega Man X game, which I feel like is a pretty common opinion. But for a while I was saying Mega Man X3, so I'm not sure. It's sometimes it's hard to change your mind, when you're so set on something. But I think it might be. I think it might be my favorite. All right. Let's go into my gold medal for 94, which is Final Fantasy VI on the Super Nintendo. Also known as Final Fantasy III on the Super Nintendo. I'm sure you've heard, I'm sure like we went from Final Fantasy III on Super Nintendo to Final Fantasy VII on the PlayStation. Yeah, Square decided that okay, we're gonna stop messing with this number thing. Imagine it was released as Final Fantasy IV on the PlayStation. What a different world. Would they even call it FF7 remake? Would it be FF4 remake? You know what I mean? Like, thank goodness they changed it there. That could have been like that could have changed a lot. Anyway, we didn't get the original Final Fantasies 2, 3, and 5 in North America. So when they localized them here, well, here's your second Final Fantasy, here's your third Final Fantasy. So growing up, I knew this is Final Fantasy 3. But more commonly, I call it 6 now. Because that's what it is. It is Final Fantasy 6. As weird as it is, it's weird to think that I was playing the sixth entry in the series all this time. So my this without a doubt, by the way, was going to be number one, hands down. I love this game. This is probably a top 5 game for me. I feel like I've said that more than 5 times at this point. Um, it's at least a top 10, but it might be a top 5. Um, I have drastically changed my opinion on. Well, drastically is not like huge. I've changed my opinion on my interest in my favorite Final Fantasy over the years. I originally used to say Final Fantasy 1 was my favorite on the NES, and then it changed to Final Fantasy 4 on the Super Nintendo. And then very recently, this year, I decided that no, I really do like this one the most, Final Fantasy 6. And the weird reason why I never admitted to this is because if you have siblings, it's hard to like have the same favorite as them. And all of my siblings love this game the most in the series, to my knowledge. I mean, my brother, he might enjoy Final Fantasy 14 more, considering how much he plays it. But growing up, I know he liked 6 the most. And my sister and my other brother too. They love Final Fantasy 6. So I was like, I can't like that one the most. You all like this game. I need my own. I need my own identity. But I think I've caved, and I'm like, okay, I really like this game. And it is a big connection to my siblings as well. Why I love this game. We played it a lot. This is one of the Final Fantasies that has a 2-player mode in battles. Uh, it's a feature that exists. I said this, I think, on 9, but yeah, it's there. Look in the options. It is there. But, we did play it a lot growing up. We rented it a lot of times. This is one game that we heavily emulated because we did not own it. Spoil it, that's bad, I know, but whatever. I don't feel that bad about it. I now I own it in multiple ways now, so whatever, I don't care. I love Final Fantasy 6 so much. I know I've barely even talked about the game, but I love the story. The cast of characters is huge. There's tons of characters for an RPG, but they all get a time to shine. Mostly, there's like some that are like they're clearly just side characters that are in the game, but that's not bad. It's not bad that they don't all have like this huge story to them. It's fine that some just have a small tidbits or nothing. They could just be secret or optional characters. It's fine. It's fine. But I do love the cast of characters in this game. I love the Esper system. Just it's so to the point on how it works, but it makes level grinding fun, and for bits of the game, slightly customizable to your characters. Eventually, everyone gets everything, but for parts of the game, there's definitely spots where it's like, oh, okay, this person has this person has this, so like, it's nice. And the soundtrack is absolutely beautiful, amazing. Like, I love the Final Fantasy VI soundtrack. I don't know if there's a song that I don't like on it. Like, even the ones that are not great, I don't think I like dislike them at all. And this game like looks really nice. Like when you go from all the Final Fantasies like leading up to this one, it's night and day. Like we had, like I said, Final Fantasy 2 or Final Fantasy 4, which was 2 on the SNES. When you go from that to 6, not 5 because we didn't get 5, but 4 and 5 look very similar. But like when you go from those to 6, it's crazy. Like they went all out on like making this game look so nice. And it's crazy because those games could have looked like that. Like it's the same hardware, but they just managed to go above and beyond on it, and it looks really good for the Super Nintendo. The sprite works amazing, just like everything. Like all the pixel art is great. So love the game. Uh, you know, it's really good. It's really good. Play it. All right, that's going to do it for 1994. Thank you so much for watching. Next time, 1993. So until then, take care. Goodbye.